Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Strong winds almost blew us away today. They will relax tomorrow, but will the cold relent?
He got away with his life.
I'm all right because I'm alive still. You know, I don't care about the car and all that material stuff.
A father of 6 carjacked by men posing as police officers. What he did that he claims kept the attackers from shooting him.
But first, tragedy along I-75. 3 people dead, 2 more extremely critical after a violent crash, and a wrong-way driver is to blame. Thanks for being with us for the news at 5. Michigan State Police are still working to sort out this tragic accident.
And now we have learned more about how it started. Police said the driver got on the wrong way using the off-ramp at I-375 right at Greektown Casino. It was a crash that occurred then just a few miles down the road near the I-94 interchange. Rod Maloney following the story from that location where the driver got on, headed in the wrong direction. Rod?
Yes, Devin, a lot of people don't know this, but as a matter of course, the Michigan State Police will check with the casinos because if you go in the garage, they record your license plate, and they matched the license plate from the car there in this garage. So they went and found the videotape, and they have the actual video showing the woman pulling out of the Greektown Casino garage here at Lafayette Avenue and making that fatal left-hand turn down the Lafayette Avenue on-ramp, make it the off-ramp going onto I-75 north in the southbound lane. This burning hulk of car parts was a Chevy Malibu, the driver having spent roughly 6 minutes going the wrong way up I-75 before hitting another vehicle head-on at I-94. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Mike Shaw says they also used casino video to check out the driver's activities before she left.
From what we could tell, just walking around the floor, she had contact with several of the employees there, other people. She didn't appear to be intoxicated or anything on the video that would point us in that direction.
We'll have to wait for autopsy toxicology results to know for certain. An off-duty officer, police or fire, we don't know right now, came upon the scene at about 3:45 a.m. and cut the Malibu's driver from her car, put her on the side of the highway. He then ran to the similarly burning white Oldsmobile van where 4 people were trapped inside, but he could not help them. 2 riders on the passenger side burned to death. The driver and other passenger rushed to receiving hospital, where they're in extremely critical condition and not expected to survive. Firefighters needed the jaws of life to cut them out of the van. Shaw called the accident so violent, it's difficult to even know precisely what happened.
There was no braking from either vehicle. There was no gouge marks, so they were pretty confident it's in the left portion of the roadway. But right now, we still can't determine if that's the left lane or the left center.
The highway was shut down during rush hour for about 3 hours. In the meantime, we're told that the passengers in the white van were not wearing their seatbelts. And while MSP advises everybody to wear their seatbelts at all times, they're saying in this instance, wearing a seatbelt really would not have mattered. Back to you.
Well, Rod, have they identified everyone who was in the crash?
Yeah, it took much of the day, but yes, they do have IDs, but they've been trying to get notification of next of kin, so far have not been able to do that. And so it's likely we won't know until later on tonight or maybe even tomorrow who these people were.
Yeah. All right, Rod. Of course, you might remember just last week another wrong-way driver incident on that same stretch of southbound I-75. That time the driver got all the way to Royal Oak before being stopped by police. There were no injuries in that incident.
In Taylor tonight, this man, Bernard Bryant, is in custody held without bond after being charged with rape. And the victim in this case is an underage relative. Let's get to Coco McAboy live. And Coco, you've learned new details in this very disturbing case.
Yes, Kimberly, a lot of horrific details, not even worth repeating, but Bernard Bryant is facing 3 felony counts of criminal sexual conduct and assault for his alleged actions, and he ended up having a lot to say in court.
State your name, please. Bernard Bryant.
Bernard Bryant at first stood silent as the judge went over the 3 felony charges he's now facing after the alleged sexual assault of his young family member on New Year's Day at a home in Taylor.
However, you are being charged with habitual offender 4th offense.
Police say the victim's grandmother heard screaming, walked into one of the bedrooms, and saw Bryant pulling up his pants. During an interview with the victim, police discovered an injury to the young child from the sexual abuse.
During an interview with Detective May noted that he did observe some visible strangulation marks around her neck.
The judge asked Bryant if he had anything to say. Bryant then began talking about the awful crime that happened, rambling and not making any sense.
I'm sorry to my brother and his family. My whole neighborhood seemed like they were on to it. Family members were acting in cahoots or whatnot. I'm sorry that I did it. I really did not want to do it, but I figured that my life was on the line.
Until the judge stopped him.
All right, at this point in time, there is to be no contact with the victim or her family.
Now Bryant faces life behind bars after the heinous crime on New Year's Day. And we spoke to a family member of the victim off camera who said they're all just really disturbed and shocked by what happened. And of course, Bryant will be back in court in 2 weeks. Reporting live this evening, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4 News. Back to you.
And Coco, police have other concerns about Bryant as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, Kimberly. So, of course, this is just a disturbing, terrible case, but police are also still investigating because they believe that there may be more victims in this case.
It's sickening. Okay, Coco. Thank you.
We continue to follow a developing story out of New York. More than 100 people hurt in a train derailment. Train derailed around 8:30 this morning in Brooklyn. Officials say the train was traveling just about 15 miles an hour when it ran into a bumping block. After the crash, one of the passengers on the train told reporters it caught everyone by surprise.
There was no warning, anything. It just happened. Bam, There was no indication, no warning, anything.
In total, 103 people hurt in the accident, though police say all of the injuries were minor. At this point, though, still unclear why the train didn't stop. Police are still trying to figure it out. I believe the saying goes, what a difference a day makes. Really true today, isn't it?
That is true, because we started the week off with rain in the 50s, and now here we are talking about snow and single-digit wind chills. It's chilly, Ben.
It is, Kim and Devin. Even though parts of the area are just dealing with the cold and the wind, there's snow showers on top of it that are really kind of being a shock to the system, especially down here in parts of Washtenaw County. You can see that these darker shades, a little bit more intense snow showers, may be enough to dust the ground in a couple spots, but with that wind blowing so much, this is probably not going to be measurable snow. We will see these start to ease out and fade off as we get into the nighttime hours tonight, but those cold temperatures not going anywhere. We'll see temperatures fall to the teens. Wind chills will stay in the single digits, barely above zero for most of us, and we will get a break from the snow showers tonight. Coming up, we'll look at your 4-zone forecast, which will show us the wind chills, and they don't look a whole lot different tomorrow. More on that ahead, guys.
Okay, Ben. An Auburn Hills apartment complex fire could be arson. Fire
began this morning on Tall Oaks Court near I-75 and South Boulevard. This is video from Sky 4. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but as Kim mentioned, the investigation continues. It may have been intentionally set.
In Detroit, 3 firefighters were taken to the hospital today while responding to a fire. It broke out about 7 this morning on Cameron Street, just west of I-75.
Told at least 2 of the firefighters suffered from burns from a blowback. Another suffered a knee injury fighting the fire. At this point, unclear just how seriously the firefighters are injured, but arson crews there are continuing to investigate as well.
Okay, Bernie decided to come back to work today.
Yeah.
As we inch closer and closer to Saturday's playoff
I hear
game.
playoffs, you know that.
You were waiting for them to
I get all fired up. I'm ready to go.
There have been questions about what all of this season meant, making the playoffs for Jim Caldwell's future. We got an answer on that today.
It was. I think it's good timing, too. It was very unsettled up to that point, but he will be back for his 4th season with the Lions. Reports began to circulate this morning, and Caldwell himself made it official. However, he would just confirm he'd be back next season, which is the 4th and final season on his contract, and would answer no questions beyond that. We've got highlights of Caldwell taking the Lions to the playoffs 2 of the 3 seasons he's been here. The players love Jim Caldwell, and in sports today, that has to count for a lot. How many teams quit on a coach? The Lions were 1-3. He righted the ship, and now they're headed to the playoffs. Caldwell did thank those that made the decision for him to return.
I want to say, obviously, I'm appreciative. Thankful, express my gratitude to Bob and Mrs. Ford and the Ford family and Rod Wood for their support.
There you go. That's his goodbye. That's his hellos and his thank yous. Lions have lost 3 in a row, stumbled into the playoffs. Much more on the Lions and Seahawks coming up later in sports. It's a good move. The players love him. Yeah. You can find a coach who players love. I think you've got to kind of
and he got into the playoffs
too. Hard to get rid of a coach who puts you in the playoffs, but maybe the extension part comes down to how they do now in the playoffs.
I'm not sure. I don't.
Well,
he's back next year for his 4th season, so I mean. I think this is a guy, if players like a coach, Chuck Daly once told me, players stop hearing coaches after a certain number of years. I don't think Caldwell's
reached that point. We've seen it happen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, remember Local 4 is your home for Saturday's game as the Lions take on the Seahawks in Seattle. Yeah, it's a big game.
Yeah.
Our special coverage starts with Local 4 News at 6. Jamie Edmonds will have special reports live from Seattle.
Football in America comes along at 7:30. That takes us up to kickoff at 8:15 live here on Local 4, and then hopefully you'll be joining us for a special edition of Local 4 News after the game. All right, big weekend. New developments in the Fraser sinkhole situation. Nick.
In Fraser, one of the lingering questions is how are they going to pay for all of this? They're still trying to find that answer, but they do know exactly how it's going to cost Macomb County residents. We'll explain.
Okay, Nick, and a positive trend in the city of Detroit. The brand new numbers out today concerning crime in the city, why the chief says there's still a very long way to go. Sean?
A young father of 6 carjacked in Southfield. The thieves taking his car, his pants, and his shoes.
I'm all right, because I'm alive still, you know. I don't care about the car and all that material stuff.
That carjacking victim tells me he did one thing that helped him survive this attack. I'll tell you what it is coming up on Local 4.
New at 6.
A 17-year-old boy was shot and killed in southwest Detroit, and his brother and father are pleading that the person who did this comes forward. That story on Local 4.
And something rather amazing. Scientists discover a new organ in the human body. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge will explain why the discovery could make surgeries less invasive and speed up recovery time.
Well, for the second time in as many days, a man is not only carjacked, but also forced to strip down. It's a new tactic carjackers are using to make sure their victims don't have guns.
And this one happened in Southfield around 3 o'clock this morning by men who were posing as police officers. Sean Lay spoke with the victim and shows us the one thing he did that he says helped him escape with his life.
Well, make no mistake about it. This was an ambush. These guys were waiting on this young father of 6 to get their hands on his SUV, but he did something very, very smart to survive this carjacking.
Well, I kept telling him, I said, I got a daughter, man, you know.
Darrell Foster is shaken up, and who wouldn't be? That's Foster around 4 this morning, right in front of his own home in Southfield. No shoes on and a change of clothes. Carjackers posing as police, ambushing Foster, wanting his Porsche SUV. And it was the lights inside the car that convinced Foster that he was being pulled over.
No, I thought it was the police, and when they put the light out the window, I rolled my window down to see what was going on, and they had a rifle on the side of the flashlight.
A shotgun, the gunman holding a flashlight to it. 4 men in all, inside a green or blue older model Chrysler sedan equipped with red and blue flashing lights.
Talking about the police lights?
Yeah.
No, they were inside the windshield, like right on the windshield.
What color were they?
Red and blue. They were like police lights, like they cut them on.
The gunman forcing Foster to the ground, taking his Air Jordan shoes, his belt, and his pants. This attack different than the carjacking on Detroit's east side from yesterday, where a driver of a Mercedes was made to take off all of his clothes before the gunman got away in his car.
I'm all right, because I'm alive still, you know. I don't care about the car and all that material stuff, but, you know, I just thought it was the police.
Well, Foster tells me he doesn't care about the material things that he lost. He cares about surviving the attack so he can be around for his 6 kids. In Southfield, Sean Lay, Local 4.
All right, Sean. Well, Macy's has just announced they are cutting 6,200 jobs, closing 68 stores, and 2 of them are here in Metro Detroit.
The store at the Eastland Center in Harper Woods is closing, along with the Macy's in Westland. Other stores closing in Michigan are the store at Lakeview Square Mall in Battle Creek and a store in Lansing as well. Macy's made the decision to close stores last year, but are just now naming which locations will be shut down. The Detroit Zoo smashed its all-time attendance record in 2016.
Yeah. Attracted more than 1.6 million visitors. In fact, that blew past their own lofty goal of 1.5 million. It marks the 11th consecutive year the zoo's attendance has exceeded 1 million people. One of the reasons for the uptick in attendance, guests were flocking actually from around the world to see the Polk Penguin Conservation Center, which is the largest facility in the world for penguins. It opened in April. And the penguins are the only critters around right now feeling just right at home. Them and the polar bears. Yeah, they're all good.
That's a great exhibit, too. The butterfly exhibit is pretty cool, too. It's a fantastic zoo. It's a gym that we have.
Congratulations to the zoo on the big year.
Yeah.
They're all laughing at us.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're like, you can't handle it.
It was a little jarring today. When that wind was snapping in your face, it was, yeah.
And that was the difference. Temperature was enough. But between that, I mean, we didn't have a breeze hardly to speak of yesterday with that 45-degree temperature. And then you tack on these cold air and the winds on top of it, and man, what a switch. It's 20 out there right now, and of course when you look at the temperature change only, it's 25 degrees colder than what we were looking at yesterday at this time. In fact, all of the state of Michigan and really Wisconsin and parts of Illinois are seeing that drastic change. Then it's the winds on top of that that are making things feel all that much colder, with wind chills that are pretty close to zero in spots right now. So the other thing we're watching are the snow showers, and we've been seeing these pretty much consistent throughout the day. A couple of those bands, even though they're thin, could be a little bit intense. So watch out for that if you're going to be driving tonight. They're obviously a lot more put together here on the other side of the state. The computer models have not been handling this very well. It's showing us pretty much nothing, although we do anticipate that these bands will sort of slacken off a little bit tonight. They are going to come back tomorrow afternoon, and again, model really not handling that very well as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Temperature's not going to change a whole lot. Winds aren't going to change. So it is really going to be what you see, what you feel is what you get all the way through the upcoming weekend. So tonight we're going to drop down to 12 degrees. Winds will go from 25 to 15 miles an hour. I don't know if that helps much, but wind chill's still going to be around single digits and even negative at times overnight. 21 for the high temperature tomorrow. Will go from 15 to 25 miles per hour as far as the winds go. They shouldn't be gusting quite as high as we get into tomorrow afternoon. It's really not going to make a huge difference, though, in those wind chills. This is how it's going to feel for much of the day tomorrow. About 3 to 7 degrees, at least positive territory here in our metro zone. South zone, those numbers look very similar, about 4 to 6 above zero is what we're expecting. Then things get colder out here in our west zone, just hanging above zero here. Mainly in Genesee County and northern parts of Oakland County, slightly milder towards Ann Arbor and Canton, where you'll be at about 5 or 6 above. And in our north zone, a lot of goose eggs up there and even some negative wind chills throughout the day tomorrow. So again, this is not going to change a whole lot right through Sunday. You can see those wind chills remain almost steady all the way through the weekend. Numbers do come up as we get into Monday and Tuesday. 28 Monday, 38 Tuesday. There is some decent amounts of precipitation there, and it's going to be a question of timing and type on what we get. Right now, it looks like it's going to start as snow, become mixed, and then get to some rain. So just going to be kind of a sloppy Tuesday.
A little messy.
At least it's going to be feeling a lot better.
The Lions look like they're in for a mess in Seattle this weekend, too.
Probably sloppy as well.
Yeah. All righty. Frank?
Year 2017, well, coming up, the 4 resolutions that can dramatically improve your heart health, including one you should do every morning before you even walk out the door.
But first, stories from across Michigan, including a horrible tragedy at this up north ski resort. That story's next.
Over the years.
Across Michigan this Wednesday, we're following stories from Flint and the campus of Michigan State University in East Lansing.
But let's start with a tragedy up north in Thompsonville. That's where a family ski trip took a terribly tragic turn after a 10-year-old girl died in a skiing accident at Crystal Mountain. Spokesperson at the resort says the girl was taking a group ski lesson on an intermediate trail on New Year's Day when she got ahead of the class, lost control, and struck a tree. She was transported to a hospital in Grand Rapids, and that's where she died from her injuries on Monday. The girl and her family were visiting from the Chicago area.
Flint residents will continue to get some relief on their water bills through March. Governor Snyder signed a bill to extend the state's water relief credits for Flint's residential and commercial water customers. The bill was originally signed in February of last year. So residential customers must pay at least 10% of their past due bills to avoid shutoffs, and the city must continue to collect 70% of its water bills. The extension will continue the credits through March 31st. Michigan State University has landed a big grant to help fight the Zika virus.
$1 million grant, in fact, coming from the United States Agency for International Development. It is being awarded to an associate professor of microbiology and molecular genetics. And believe it or not, the grant will be used to build a mosquito factory. It'll be in the Yucatan in Mexico, and it'll actually be modeled after a lab in China where the associate professor leads research on disease-carrying mosquitoes. We'll be right back.
It's dinner time. Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
The tide is changing and the numbers prove it. Chief Craig weighs in on Detroit's crime statistics and a long road ahead. The numbers are promising, but there is still a lot to be done to stop crime in the city.
Let's take a look at the numbers as they came in for 2016. Total violent crime down almost 7% over 2015. That's a promising drop.
Also, property crimes like home robberies and car thefts were down 5.3%.
On the other side, though, criminal homicides ticked up 2.3%. Jason Colthorpe live at DPD headquarters with more on what the chief had to say about looking back at the year that was. Jason.
Yeah, that nearly 7% drop you mentioned is significant, guys, because the department's goal was only 5%. It has another 5% reduction goal for this year. And the chief says, hey, we're on the right track, but there is a lot of work to be done. Because notably, when you talk to victims like I did today, a man who was shot last night, those folks will tell you the numbers may have good news, but they don't still feel safe.
So we've exceeded our goals.
There are a lot of positives in the 2016 Detroit crime stats. The lowest number of non-fatal shootings in more than 10 years. And even though homicides crept up, homicides over the last few years are as low as they've been in 47 years. And there's a big reason why.
Has certainly exceeded my expectations. When you talk about a steady decline in crime over 3 years, 3 years that I've been here, I give the vast majority of credit of this team.
But the chief still acknowledges there is a lot of work to do.
The bullet ended up going through my jacket, through this jacket. I didn't even see the little holes in here.
That's how close this man came to dying last night when he and his friend were robbed in Detroit. He was grazed by a bullet and his friend was shot twice.
He's on the ground screaming, my stomach, my stomach.
His friend died. We're being vague with the details because he fears retribution from the men who are still on the loose. Crime stats look pretty good on paper right now, but in this man's neighborhood, it's a little different, and the chief understands that.
It took forever the ambulance to get there, and then they treat me like I'm the suspect.
When we get out and talk to someone who lives in a neighborhood, let's say that's besieged with narcotic activity or shots fired nightly, that person would probably tell you they don't feel real safe.
Now, you heard him say it took forever for the ambulance to get there. I talked to police about this incident last night. They said the police response time was 6 minutes to that shooting. And that's another thing they look back on in 2016 as another victory. Response times also an improvement. We're live at DPD headquarters tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Now, Jason, there are some other categories that do really jump out that we should probably look into further, such as carjackings.
Yeah, a total number of carjackings this year, Devin, 382. And if you go by the percentages from last year, that's almost a 40% reduction. If you look back 3 years, there were more than twice as many of that. And the chief talked about that 3-year average in a lot of different categories. Violent crime off 16% in the last 3 years, and total crime down 23%. So that trend, really solid good news for the department.
All right, Jason. Also tonight, we should mention Chief Craig is confirming his department is investigating an officer for alleged inflammatory comments posted online, comments related to an article about Detroit officers who live outside the city. We have not independently verified them, so we're not saying exactly, we're not going to be specific about what those comments are, but Chief Craig says if the investigation shows the postings are accurate, he doesn't want that officer working in his department. In Fraser tonight, crews are on site still working around the clock to repair the sinkhole.
Here is a look at what they were doing today, trying to get the bypass line finished for the real work to begin.
And throughout this ordeal, two things have become clear. It's going to take a long time to fix. It's also going to be an expensive fix. So who pays for it?
Let's get to Nick Monticelli. He's live in Fraser tonight. Nick, first off, update us on today's progress.
Karen, good evening. The progress, as you mentioned, is moving along. These bypass lines are going in. 2 additional pumps are now in. There will be 3 parallel pipes, a total of 6,000 feet. Once they get those lines in, then they can shut off the main line, dry it out, and then get inside to inspect it. But as you mentioned, their second problem is, how are they going to pay for this? You cannot tell from a distance, but considerable amounts of progress are being made in Fraser. 2 of the bypass pumps are now installed, part of the 3 parallel pipes that are going in to get around the break. One of the rising concerns, though, is how will the county pay for all of this? Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller and County Exec Mark Hackel talked to state leaders today.
There's a possibility of some federal highway assistance, perhaps, for the road construction itself, with 15-mile road.
Also, there is some good news on the horizon for the 3 families whose homes have been condemned. The county is considering writing a check and just buying them.
That is a possibility to the extent that we can go. We're going to have conversations with those homeowners directly to figure out if that is their interest.
There's also now a theory about what may have caused all of this. This is the line, and back in 1970 it collapsed once before. During that time, they drilled several holes right through the sewer line to determine exactly where the break was. They found it was between here and here, but there were 2 additional holes that were left on either side of that break in 78. It was filled in with grout. However, those holes are right at the spot that it broke again in 2004 and in the spot that it happened again on Christmas Eve. An open hole would allow soil to get pulled in, washing it away, and then there is nothing supporting the pipe.
If this is the case, I guess one thing you could say is we know how to fix it.
Very insightful, again, if that theory proves to be true. Now, again, how are they going to pay for this? They are talking to the governor's office. They are having conversations about what pots of money could be available with federal highway money, as you heard. But we do know that Macomb County taxpayers will be on the hook for this as well. They said they will definitely have to sell bonds, and they will definitely have to raise the rates here in Macomb County, the water rates, to see if they can pay for this even in the short term, because the bills for this are already coming in. We are live in Fraser. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
We got a feel for those homeowners and lots of people asking questions in terms of how we got here. So, Nick, if the holes were drilled back in 1979, why were the problems not seen during all the inspections that they had to go under?
That's something that we asked in today's press conference, and this line has always been an active line. So even once that bypass was created back in 1979, the holes on the other side of it were still being used in that section. So an inspection wouldn't see anything because there's about 3 feet of sludge, of sewage running through there. So you wouldn't see something coming in. You wouldn't see those holes because it's covered by sewage.
What a mess. All right. Thank you, Nick.
Back over here with Ben. We had an interesting day. At times we had sunshine and snow squalls at the same time, but driving at all, a really stiff wind today.
Yeah, and these winds would have been tough to handle in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
But you add those temperatures to it, and this was not fun. Look at some of these gusts that we had today. 46 miles an hour in Romulus at the airport. And the rest of the area not far behind, 40 in Mount Clemens. A good chunk of the area saw gusts over 30 miles an hour, close to 40 there in Adrian, Pontiac, and Howell. That was enough to put wind chills down in single digits for much of the day, and it doesn't look like things are going to change much as we get through the next several. I, in fact, drove through a pretty big tree branch that had fallen over because of the winds on my way to work, and I'm sure that probably happened in some of these other areas that saw those gusts. 21 out there right now. That's the thermometer, says 21, feeling like it is 6, but we do have negative wind chills in parts of the area, especially in our north zone right now. Coming up, we'll look at your 4-zone forecast. We'll see how it feels for tomorrow through the day, and also see when we finally get another warm-up in here. Guys?
Ben. Earlier we told you about Macy's closing stores. Now we've learned Sears is also shutting down locations. 108 Kmart stores and 42 Sears stores are going to close, and that's going to happen in the next few months. No Sears stores affected are in Michigan, but 9 Kmarts in the state are going to be affected. The local locations closing are Garden City, Plymouth, Roseville, and Waterford.
The sentencing phase in the trial of convicted church shooter Dylann Roof is underway. Roof is representing himself because he says he doesn't want lawyers using mental illness as a defense against the death penalty. Today was the first time Roof ever addressed the jury directly. He offered no apology and no explanation for the horrific massacre. Roof was convicted last month for the June 2015 church shooting in Charleston that left 9 people dead. Prosecutors may call as many as 24 people to testify before letting the jury decide whether he should die.
In Washington, Republicans made it clear repealing Obamacare is their #1 priority, but they admitted their replacement is far from ready. Steve Handelsman has more on that and how the president himself went to Capitol Hill to try to save as much as possible of his signature health care law. Steve?
Devin, thanks. The next time Barack Obama comes up here to the Hill, it will be for the swearing in of Donald Trump. This trip was to motivate the anti-Trump forces.
Happy New Year.
President Obama came to the Capitol to rally Democrats to take their fight for Obamacare to the American people. And the Democrats' new Senate leader did.
The Republican plan to cut health care wouldn't make America great again. It would make America sick again and lead to chaos.
Donald Trump tweeted, "Massive increases of Obamacare will take place this year, and Dems are to blame for the mess." Vice President-elect Mike Pence went to the Hill to rally Republicans.
The first order of business is to repeal and replace Obamacare.
But with what, Republicans still don't know.
We want to make sure that there's an orderly transition so that the rug is not pulled out from under the families who are currently struggling under Obamacare.
They admit the GOP alternative might not kick in for 2 years.
It's because a replacement plan you won't know till this summer, and that's even too late to put forth new plans for 2018.
Obamacare is working to get coverage for more Americans. Just 11% now have no insurance. But the average premium cost is now $18,000. That's up 26%. President Obama stepping up his argument that undoing his health care law instead of tweaking it will hurt the nation.
Look out for the American people.
And will politically wound Republicans. Congress soon will vote repeal. The new president will roll back Obamacare with executive orders. But then comes the big fight, the long fight, over what will be included and not included in Trump care. From the Capitol, Steve Handelsman, Local 4.
All right, Steve. Meantime, President-elect Donald Trump continues to work on filling out his cabinet. Today, he chose Wall Street lawyer Jay Clayton as his choice to head the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Troy police are taking an extra step to make sure their police dogs are safe in the line of duty.
Take a look at Troy's police canine Eli, and he just received a brand new bulletproof vest. That vest, a donation from the Professional Law Enforcement Association. They're expensive. That's worth nearly $3,000. The department says Eli is trained in both drug detection and tracking, and the vest should allow him to expand his service in the city. Well, it's supposed to only cost $1 a month. Thousands of customers paid a lot more than that, though.
Ahead here at 5:30, the tricky tactics 2 major companies used on people trying to get their credit reports.
And scandal rocks the classic car world. Ahead at 5:30, what is making some of these priceless cars worthless? Doc?
Well, there are resolutions for your heart coming up. 4 changes that can dramatically improve your heart health, including one you should do every morning before you even walk out the door.
Beat the new at 6.
Liberty Park of America, an indoor dome with golf and kickball and soccer, softball fields outside. But this place has decided to shut down. Many are very upset, and some are also extremely upset about what is going to take its place. We'll explain all of that on Local 4 News at 6.
All right, Nick, also at 6, fallout for Ford after pulling the plug on a $1.5 billion plant in Mexico. Why the decision is still going to cost the Detroit automaker. Now to good health tonight. It's the season, of course, for resolutions. How about resolving to have a healthier heart?
Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with 4 ways to improve your heart health in the coming year.
Well, Karen and Devin, we asked a heart expert what his top 4 resolutions to help boost your heart health were. They're lifestyle changes that could add years to your life and more life to your years.
Step 1 to a healthier heart, more steps.
My first and foremost is become more physically active.
Dr. Barry Franklin is the Director of Preventative Cardiology at Beaumont Royal Oak. He says this year, resolve to disguise your exercise.
Disguise your exercise. And by that I'm saying get in the habit of covering at least 30 minutes of walking throughout the day. Get to work 10 minutes early, walk briskly. Over the lunch hour, walk 10 minutes. And when you're all done, walk 10 additional minutes. And I mean briskly, pick up the pace. Walk like you're late for a doctor appointment, or you're late for a meeting or something like that.
Resolution number 2, quit smoking and avoid secondhand smoke.
It's the single greatest killer and crippler. In fact, the average lifelong cigarette smoker loses 10 to 12 years of their lifespan. People don't realize it. If you live with a smoker and he or she is a lifelong smoker, your risk for heart and lung disease is 30% higher. Cities or towns that open up smoking bans and say you can't smoke anywhere have a big decrease in heart attacks, and most of the decrease is in non-smokers.
Franklin says diet is also key.
Number 3, eat more fruits and veggies. We tell all of our patients at Beaumont at least 5 servings of fruits and veggies every day.
To make that happen, resolve to eat 2 fruits or vegetables at breakfast.
This morning I had oatmeal, I threw some blueberries on there, I had a glass of V8 vegetable juice, then I had a banana on the way to work. So I actually had 3.
Finally, resolve to know your numbers when it comes to cholesterol.
Number 4, find out what your cholesterol is. And if it's anything above 160, reduce it by 40 points. It's called the rule of 40. For every 40 points you lower it, you cut your risk in half. If your cholesterol is 240, January, and in December, it's down to 200. You've gone from 240 to 200. You cut your risk of a heart attack in half. How do you do it? Healthier diet, more regular exercise, weight loss, and for some people, they'll need a medication called a statin, which can lower cholesterol.
Now, Franklin says, whatever your resolution, write it down and be specific about your goals and look at them every day. Remember, these are lifestyle changes, so it takes time to make them part of your life, but there's no question any of these changes can significantly improve your health.
I love the idea of disguise your exercise. If you don't recognize it as exercise, you can do yourself
You
a lot
do
of good
more.
and have a lot and do more. Exactly.
And you don't feel like it, like if you're making yourself avoid the elevator or the escalator.
It's not torture.
Right.
That's right.
Right. So walk to the ice cream shop. To the pizza place.
And avoid all the secondhand smokers.
Speaking of